live. So good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from, everyone. My name is Jesse, and I am with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. For those joining us for the first time, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world. And today we're going on a little bit of a virtual field trip, but I also want to highlight that all February long, we are highlighting amazing women in STEM. So over 45 sessions, women from over 20 countries. It's a really exciting month for us, and thank you guys so much for sharing it with us. So right now we've got all 7 classes that we expected joining us from across North America. So I'm going to give them a chance to do a bit of a hello before we dive in. So we've got the Longfellow 5th graders in Rochester in Minnesota. Let me just pull up your mic. Hi guys, welcome in Minnesota. Let's see. Oh, they're coming in. We still need to get them. They're there. They'll come in soon. That's funny. We've got Miss Sinclair's grade 2s in Kalispell in Montana. Hi guys.
Morning.
Hey, there's so many of you. Oh man, what is going on there? All right, we've got Miss Keller's grade 4s in Hutchinson in Kansas. Hi guys. Hey, welcome in. We've got Miss Edwards grade 2s in Tucson in Arizona. Hi guys.
Wait, right there. Hello.
Hey, nice Oakland Raiders hat too. We've also got Miss GC's class, also grade 2s, also in Tucson, Arizona, right down the hall. Welcome in, guys. Hey, everyone. Awesome. We've got Miss Wells, grade 6 in Channel Port Basque in Newfoundland. Welcome in. Hey, it's so nice to have a Newfoundland class, and I love it. And last but not least, we've got Mr. Bernie's grade 3s in Aurelia in Ontario. Hi, guys. Hey, welcome in. All right. Of course, the reason you guys are all here today is for our speaker. So we are joined live all the way in Costa Rica in Central America by the Toucan Rescue Ranch folks. So Maria today there is going to take us on a journey of their amazing facility where they rescue, rehabilitate, re-release injured wildlife. They've been doing this since 2004. And while they work with a lot of wildlife in one of the most biodiverse regions of the planet today, we are going to focus on sloths, taking you around one of the coolest, neatest animals in the whole world. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining us, Maria, and you can take it away.
So, hi guys. Hello everyone. How are you? Good morning. Thank you for joining us here. Welcome to the Toucan Rescue Ranch. So as you said, we are a rescue center here in Costa Rica. And yeah, we were established in 2004. And actually we were like the first center to start rescuing toucans. And that's why we have that name. Also, as a reminder that we are not a zoo, so all the animals that we are seeing today were rescued animals, and they all come from different circumstances. They were probably injured by some accident, or maybe they were seized from illegal pet ownership. So we specialize on toucans, owls, and sloths, but we also have many different other animals like kinkajous, porcupines, and also some wildcats like the ocelots. So the primary goal of the Toucan Rescue Ranch is to rescue, rehabilitate, and release, when it's possible, the animals that we get here. And because of that, we also have a fully functioning medical clinic, which is filled with a lot of veterinarians and doctors that help us to heal the animals. We also have a release site in which we release many of the animals that we get here, and that's in the Caribbean side of Costa Rica in Sarapiquí. But we are also partnered with the Sloth Institute, which is at the Pacific side, at the other side of the country. And we have a program that is called Saving Sloths Together. And because of that program, we can also release many of the sloths at the Pacific side of Costa Rica. So just to tell you a little bit about sloths, sloths is the slowest mammal in the world. They have slow metabolism and slow digestion. And all of that is because of their diet. So they mostly eat leaves, and leaves have very low energy. So that's why they move so slow. Also, sloths are cousins. They are very parented with armadillos and anteaters. So they are very similar as well. So We have 6 species of sloths in the world. They can go from Mexico all the way to South America. And in Costa Rica, we have 2 species. The one that you are looking at right now is the two-finger sloth. In Costa Rica, the 2 species that we have are called the two-toed sloth and the three-toed sloth. But these names are actually a misnomer because the difference is on their fingers and not on their toes. So all sloths have 3 toes, but they have different number of fingers. So these sloths actually should be named two-fingered sloths, and the other one should be named three-fingered sloth. Another difference that we can see between the 2 species is on their faces. So here we can see for the two-fingered sloth that it has a very long snout that resembles like a piggy nose. Here you can see it. However, for the other species, the three-fingered sloth, it does have, we are going to see it right now, it doesn't have that long snout. It actually has black spots on their eyes, and they look a little bit more like the Zootopia characters that we saw in the movie. So here you can see them. This is Luna. Luna was found with her mother, and they suffered a car accident. So that's why she lost a little bit part of her right eye. Another difference between the 2 species is on their behavior. This species that we are looking at right now, the three-fingered sloth, it is actually diurnal. So it prefers to be active during the day, even though they look quite sleepy right now. And the two-fingered sloth that we saw moving in the branches, they are actually nocturnal. So they prefer to be active during the night, even though we are seeing them climbing all around now. Another difference between the 2 species is their diet. So the two-fingered sloths do eat a lot of leaves, but they also eat a lot of eggs and lizards and other kinds of insects. And that makes them actually faster than the species that we are looking right now, the three-fingered sloth, because this species eats only leaves, and that's why they are even slower. So, as I told you, they have a slow digestion, and it can take up to a month to digest the leaves that they eat. And once that they have managed to digest all the leaves, they can go to the bathroom, and that happens only once a week, or even once every 2 weeks sometimes. And but the reason why they very rarely go to the bathroom is because in order to do it so, they have to climb down the tree and do it in the soil, on the bare ground, where they are very vulnerable to predators and to people as well. So that's why they prefer to stay in the canopy and only go down to the bathroom once a week. And when they go to the bathroom, they do the two of them together. They can poo and pee at the same time. What we are looking right now is sloth poop, which is, yeah, this is very characteristic of sloths, the consistency and everything. Yeah, here we have another one. So yeah, and even though we can see them now very relaxed, just laying on the floor, sloths have a lot to be worried about. On the ground, they are very vulnerable to predators, as I told you. They have many predators like hawks, falcons, big owls, and even ocelots and jaguars. And also, they have another thing to be worried about. For example, the climate change, which is causing that the dry season is even stronger each time, and that makes a lot of forest fires. And forest fires actually destroy their habitat. Another thing that is actually bad for them is deforestation, because when people cut the trees, they are cutting their kind of like their houses. And without the trees, they don't have anywhere else to live. Okay, another thing that is actually very damaging for sloths is the illegal pet trade. People usually think that sloths are very cute, and because of that, they like to capture them from the rainforest and take them to their homes and raise them as pets. However, even though sloths do look very cute, they do not make good pets. They are very aggressive to both people and other animals. And yes, and sloths are also suffering a lot from fragmentation, which is when humans build a lot of roads and buildings on what it used to be a forest. And because of that, we have a lot of sloths coming here because of electrocutions and car accidents. Because when there is no more forest where they can climb, they have to look for something else to climb. And this something else is actually power lines. So power lines are not covered in here. So we receive a lot of sloths that get electrocuted because of that. Also, when the road is cutting down the forest or a national park, then sloths need to get to the soil and start crawling around the road. And because of that, they get hit by cars, just like Luna. And yeah, we need to be very mindful of this, because if we start cutting down all the forests, then the sloths might disappear in the future. And they are very important animals for the ecosystem. They actually even have like a small ecosystem going on their furs right now. So in the wild, sloths actually grow an algae on their fur, and this algae, which is a green algae, helps them with camouflage. They also have a moth that eats this algae, and the sloth provides the algae and the moth with a place to live in. And the moths actually reproduce on the poop of the sloth. So it's a very symbiotic relationship in which the three animals, the moth, the algae, and the sloth, benefit from each other. So they are very important. Actually, the algae can also help the sloths when they are low from nutrients and they need a little bit extra nutrition so they can lick the algae from their fur. Yeah. Another interesting thing about sloths is that they are actually very good swimmers. They can even hold their breath for 40 minutes. And well, the sloths that we are looking at right now, we actually had them in a competition, the sloths Ironman, okay? And yeah, so we put them to race between themselves, like between them. And Grumpy, which is one of the ones that we see climbing very up on the tree canopy, he won this competition. Right now, they are on the top of the tree because they prefer to be very far from humans. So, as I told you, they do not make very good pets. They prefer to be away from us, even though they do look very cute.
Fantastic. By the way, Maria,
Yes.
I'm curious what the call is. We keep hearing this noise in the background, and what animal is making that noise?
Well, as I told you, at the rescue center, we have a lot of different animals. So, what you're hearing right now are some macaws and parrots that we have. We also have them here.
Fantastic. And Maria, I don't know if you were going to share anything else specifically, but if not, I can take it to our classes and see if they have any questions to ask you.
Yes, awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for a fantastic tour of the rescue ranch. In addition to our 7 live classes, we've got at least 7 more watching on YouTube right now. So please type in your questions in the chat bar. I'll take as many as I can. But let's dive in with the Longfellow 5th graders in Minnesota. If you guys want to kick us off with a question. Come on up. Tableland.
Are sloths endangered?
Yeah, are sloths endangered, Maria?
Actually, they are not considered endangered, but the population, we don't know if it's actually decreasing. And also, they have a lot of threats, as I told you, from deforestation. They're reducing their habitats and things like that. So, even though they are not considered like endangered, we need to take care of them because they're important animals.
Yeah, they're a creature that's at risk from a variety of things that Maria laid out, and so we want to make sure that they don't end up endangered like a lot of other creatures that we worked with and shared in the program. Fantastic. Miss Sinclair's class, if you guys want to come up, go for it. Yeah.
How old can they get?
How old can sloths get, Maria?
Well, in the wild, it depends on the species. So the two-fingered sloth that we're looking at right now, they can live longer. They can live up to 30 years. But the three-fingered sloth, it can live a little bit less, up to 25 years, something like that. But in captivity, it has been shown that they can live up to 40 years or a little bit more.
Hey, wow, very cool. Thank you so much. Miss Keller's class, come on up, guys.
Um, is it possible to own a sloth?
Yes.
Is it possible to what? I'm
To
sorry?
own a sloth. Can people own sloths as pets? And you addressed this a little bit earlier, but can you tell us a little bit more about it again?
Well, actually, people do think that they can own a sloth and that they would make a very good pet, but it is actually very unlikely that it will survive because they have very complex behaviors. As I told you, they eat only leaves, they go to the bathroom only once a week, and they need to be eating all the time. So people usually don't give them the attention that they need. And most of the time that people keep sloths as pets, they die. Almost 90% of the cases, they die.
Yeah, so it's not an animal you should have at home. I want to ask Maria, what is this sloth have on its arm?
So this is a sloth that got electrocuted,
Yeah.
and we had to put
Orthopedic surgery.
what?
It's orthopedic surgery.
Oh.
Pins in the arm.
Or an orthopedic surgery with
Yeah.
pins to arm to his arm.
Yeah, so he's got something like you guys might get, or you might have seen someone with something like this where it helps just stabilize the arm and keep it healthy as the animal heals. Very cool. Well, good work you guys are doing. All right, I'm going to take a question from a YouTube class now. So Miss Wisniewski's class, kindergartens in Oshawa, Ontario, wanted to ask, what does the baby sloth eat? Do the baby sloths eat things that are different from the adults?
Well, when they are very, very babies, they eat milk. The mother provides milk to them. But after a couple of months, they are able to start eating solid food. So they start eating leaves and, well, depending on the species, for example, the species can eat also eggs and lizards. The other species only eat leaves.
Okay, fantastic. They also want you to know that baby sloths are the cutest creature they've ever seen. And I think that a lot of classes will second that. All right, Miss Edwards' class, if you guys want to come up, go for it.
Right up. Say, how big do they get?
How big do they get?
Yeah.
Say it really loud.
Oh, how big do sloths get, Maria?
Oh, they can get like their weight, they can get up to 14 pounds
Okay.
when they are fully developed adults. The other species gets a little bit less, like 12 pounds or something like that.
Yeah. Excellent. That is the happiest looking sloth in the world. He's just happy hanging out there. All right, Miss GC's class, also in Tucson. If you guys want to come up, go for it. Oh, your mic's cut out. I don't know why. Okay, you play with that. I'll come right back in a second, okay? And I'll take a YouTube question from Miss Coke's class in Loveland, Ohio, grade 2s. They wanted to know how long do sloths live, Maria?
I'm sorry?
How long do sloths live? Miss Coke's class wanted to know.
Oh, well, the two-finger sloth can live up to 30 years in the wild,
Yeah.
and the three-finger sloths, they can live up to 25, 26 years old in the wild.
Perfect. Thank you for
So,
answering again.
I'm sorry. We have a veterinarian in here in case you guys want to learn a little bit more about the sloth that we just saw.
Yeah, please. That would be great.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pass it to her.
Oh, come with us, little guy.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My name is Matilde and I'm the clinical intern here at the Toucan Rescue Ranch. Here we have Oatmeal. She's in an electrocution case. So she was electrocuted with her mother and her mother didn't survive. And she got really bad injury. She lost almost all her articulation of her arm. If you can see, I will show you. She has
Yeah.
external fixation that we did surgery about 2-3 weeks ago, and she's doing amazing. As you can see, she's using that arm pretty well,
Yeah.
and hopefully she'll take that all that metal stuff from her arm and she'll be released one day. Of course, she's doing physiotherapy sessions every week, and she needs to exercise every week to improve her muscle skills and to recover, but she's doing amazing. She wasn't able to do this last week. We needed to
Amazing.
sustain her. Sorry?
I just said that's amazing. We're so happy to hear that. That's wonderful. She's doing better. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely a case study. We all thought that she were gonna die in the first week, and then she just showed us the opposite.
Fantastic. Do we know when we're hoping she might be fully healed? Do we know how long it
Yeah,
might? Yeah.
yeah, it will definitely take us more months, but she's not in antibiotics anymore. She's just doing vitamins, and like 1 more year, I think that she'll be ready to go into our release program maximum. She's doing great.
Fantastic. Well, we really appreciate the extra little lesson, and that's amazing. Yeah.
Thank
Are
you.
you guys okay taking more questions from other classes? That was great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You want me to pass?
All right. We'll turn it back to Maria. Hello again,
Yes, I'm
Maria.
back. Hello
Hi.
again.
So we're going to go to Miss GC's class now. I think they got their mic working. So if you guys want to come up and ask a question, go for it.
How do sloths have babies?
How do sloths have babies, Maria?
Well, they actually breed in the trees. They have babies just the same as humans, but they do everything in the trees. So they do not climb down the tree to have their babies. They do it everything in the canopy.
Fantastic. And how many babies do they have at a time, Maria?
Well, usually the mother sloth only has one at a time. Sometimes she can even have two babies, but it's very likely that the other baby is not going to survive. So she only keeps one.
Okay. Excellent. Miss Wells's class, let's go to Newfoundland. If you guys have a question, come on up.
What countries do sloths live in?
Yeah. So where can we find sloths, Maria, in the world?
Well, they are mainly neotropical, so they can go all the way from Mexico to South America. You can find them in Ecuador, Peru, Costa Rica, Panama, Brazil, and yes, many countries in Central America.
Amazing. All right, I want to take a quick question from a YouTube class. So Miss Lowe's class, first grade in Mulvane in Kansas, wanted to ask, how large is a baby sloth when it's born? When it comes out of mom, how big is it?
How large is a baby sloth when it's born?
Yeah.
Well, they're very tiny.
Usually 200 to 300 grams.
Yeah,
Ooh.
200 or 250 grams.
Yeah, so could it fit inside your hand or just on your finger, or how big? If you were to...
Maybe on both hands they
On both.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about the size of like a box of Skittles or Smarties. So it's not a very big animal when they're born. Thank you, guys. All right, and then our last live question, Mr. Bernie's class. If you guys want to come up, go for it.
What might happen if all the sloths became extinct?
Yeah. Question.
Well, that's a very important question, actually, because all the species are very important for the ecosystem. So if we lose one species, then the ecosystem starts to be to get sick, kind of getting sick. So we will lose a lot of important services from the forest. For example, sloths are food to many animals. Also, we have like three species of moths that only live in sloths, and so we will be losing a lot of other species. And the trees also will lose kind of like their openings to get their lights because they eat the leaves.
Yep. Yep. Fantastic. Anytime we lose a species, it's a travesty. I mean, the only way to put it is that we're losing an essential part of the biodiversity in the world. I mean, whether you think that they're incredibly cute or incredibly meaningful or whatever it might be, sloths are worth protecting and keeping around. And so we're really happy that we get to share this sort of story with you from the rescue ranch. All right, I'm going to do another round of questions, Maria, if that's okay with you. Can we go back to every class?
Yeah, sure, it's perfect.
All right, really quickly, I want to take a YouTube question from Miss Gertson's class, who's joining us for all 4 sessions today. They just can't get enough today. And so their question was, what percentage of baby sloths survive to adulthood? So sometimes with babies, you said if they have 2 babies, 1 won't live. When sloths are born, how many make it to become adults and have babies of their own?
Oh, that's a very good question. I actually don't know the exact percentage of how many baby sloths get to adulthood, but once that they have survived the main like 3 years,
Yeah.
because when they are 2 years, they are fully developed. They are kind of like adults right now. So once they have survived that time, it's very likely that they will make it um, all the way.
Yeah,
So
fantastic.
yeah.
No, that's great. It's hard. It's a hard question to answer specifically, but if they get to a certain stage, they're pretty good. We hear that about turtles a lot too when we do turtle hospital sessions. So it's good to see that it's across a lot of animals. All right, let's head back to Minnesota for the Longfellow group. If you guys want to come up again, go for it.
How many sloths do you rescue per year?
Yeah.
How how many slots we rescue per year? Well, that depends a lot. Right now we have 30 slots at the Toucan Rescue Ranch. We have many more at the release site, and uh, per year we get about 20 20 slots.
That's a lot. Fantastic, guys. All right, let's head back to Miss Sinclair's class. If you guys have another question, come on up.
Um, how many sloths are in the world?
Ooh, in the whole world, Maria, how many sloths are there?
I'm really not sure, like how many individuals?
Yes.
That's a very interesting question. I actually don't know how many individuals of slots we have.
Yeah.
And that's we actually need more research about that because not even like the large agencies of conservation know how many sloths there are in the wild and what is their population trend. So as I told you, we don't know if their population is decreasing or if it's increasing or anything like that.
Yep. I really love when we can highlight tropical forests and tropical animals because for you kids, these are places that are so rich with wildlife that if you go into a place like Costa Rica and you were to, go up a tree, you would find things that had never been seen before in science, ever in history, little insects or invertebrates, things that we've never seen. And so these are dense forests that are hard to find, even large animals. We find large animals that we didn't even know were there. And we're discovering still new species of large animals every day. So it's hard to know things like how many sloths there are, even how many elephants there are in places like the African forest. So great question, guys. All right. I want to go back to Miss Keller's class. If you guys have a question, come on up.
How many colors do sloths come in?
Yeah. How many colors do sloths come in?
Well, they mostly come in this kind of colors, a little bit of white and brown. Their tonalities can change between individuals. But yes, it also depends on the species. For example, these two-finger sloths, they are more brownish, and the three-finger sloths, they are more like pale. They also have a little bit of black on their faces, and as you can see, they have like different tonalities also.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, I'm going to take a few quick questions from groups online. So Mr. Stroder's class, Glenview Park Secondary School in Cambridge, wanted to ask, do sloths have ears? And you can either interpret that as, can we see their ears at all? Or can they hear? Or how do they, what's going on with their ears?
That's an amazing question, actually. So sloths have very poor hearing, but they do have ears, and they actually have very large ears. The two-finger sloths, they have very large ears that are covered by their fur. The three-finger sloths, they also have ears, but they are very, very small, so we can't even look at them.
Excellent. All right. Miss McGavney Lee's class joining us in Ottawa, Ontario. We're getting a lot of Ottawa today. It's very exciting. They wanted to know, how fast do sloths move?
How fast sloths move? Well, that's a kind of like a tricky question. I think it depends whether the sloth is like behaving naturally or if they are running away from a predator, things like that. We I don't really know like the exact speed they can get, but I think this is as fast as they can go, like the sloth that we're looking at climbing right now.
Look at him, it's blistering. You can barely even see him. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Maria. I know these are hard questions sometimes, but you're doing a great job. All right, we'll head back to Tucson, Miss Edwards' class first. If you guys want to kick us off, come on up.
How long can sloths hold on?
Oh, how long can they hold on?
Well, they can hold on practically like all the time. We have even found sloths that are still hanging when they are dead. So yeah, they stay. They can once that they have a grip on their branch, they stay there, and they can stay there for as long as it takes.
Yeah. Well, it's because of those curved claws, right? So they don't have to, it's not like you gripping something where you have to use your muscles. Because their claws hook, they just stay there, and
Yeah.
that's how they're able to hang in the trees. Great question,
Yes,
guys.
exactly.
All right, Miss GC's class, come on up, guys. I like that you guys have a little speaker in your class.
How many do they have pouches like pandas
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
Oh
So
no, they don't. They don't have a pouch. The baby sloth actually just climbs to the back of their mother, and he just stays there.
yeah. But it's a neat question. So the animals, the mammals that do have pouches are called marsupials. And so a lot of you'll know that Australian animals have pouches like kangaroos, wombats, and others. But there are some South American animals that have pouches too. And even the opossum that comes up into Canada and the United States has a pouch. But sloths don't. Good question, guys. All right, let's head to Miss Wells' class. Come on up. You have a question.
around how many sloths are in the ranch?
Yeah.
Right now we have about 30 slots in the ranch, but we have many more at the release site. About like probably 30 more at the release site, which are in the releasing program.
Amazing. That's great news. All right, we're going to take a couple more questions. So I'm going to pass along one more from YouTube. With Wisniewski's class, wanted to ask, do sloths speak to each other? Do they make noise? Is there a way that they communicate with one another?
Well, they are not social animals, so they most of the time they're just alone and they don't need to communicate between each other. But when they do, for example, when the female is ready to have babies, she would like take a big scream, and then the male can hear that and he comes right to the female. In other circumstances, they mostly depend on smelling,
Yeah,
on the smell that they have.
very cool. Well, we would pay to hear that scream sometime. That would be great. um,
Yes.
all right, we'll go back to Mr. Bernie's class before we wrap up. If you guys want to come up for one more question, go for it.
How many stomachs does a sloth have?
Ooh.
Well, they do have one stomach which is multi-chambered,
Yeah.
and in their stomachs they can have a lot of different symbiotic bacteria that helps them to digest all the leaves that they are eating. So it's a very cool stomach. It's one stomach multi-chambered.
Yeah, I love. Sorry, that was such a great question because when we get animals, especially herbivores, we get stomach questions, and comparatively, humans have pretty boring stomachs, but sloths are really neat. So we'll share some information about that at the end as well. So Maria, this has been really fantastic, showing us around and showing us some great sloths with all these great questions. How can the kids at home take part? How can they learn more about sloths? How can they contribute to the work that you guys are doing at the rescue ranch?
Well, thank you for that question. We actually have a very cool website in which they can learn more about what we're doing here at the rescue center and about slots as well. So yeah, we do have that website. We also have a lot of pages in social media like Facebook and things like that, in case they want to learn a little bit more about ourselves.
Fantastic. And I stressed this at the beginning while we were getting the classes in, and I want to highlight it again now. The Toucan Rescue Ranch is a group that we're really partnering with to encourage kids to take part in conservation. And so we've been partnering with them all year. It's not obligatory, but if you guys wanted to adopt a sloth or contribute to the work that they're doing there, we'll pass along a link for you to do that. There's actually a special thing we're doing with the Rescue Ranch where it's $25 for a photo certificate adoption showing you the creature that you've helped adopt and take care of. So we really want to stress that, and we really encourage you to take part if you can. Maria, this has been really fantastic. Thank you so much for this. What I want to do now is at the end of every session, we demute every class's microphone. And so boys and girls, if you guys could get ready to join me in saying a huge thank you to Maria and the Rescue Ranch. You are all now demuted. Go for it. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you to all our classes for taking part today. We really appreciate you being here. Do look for those links when we're done so you can learn more about the Rescue Ranch and all they do. And Maria and the team there, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. It was really appreciated.
Thank you for everything. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.